Fool, your self-destruction is admiring your idiocy, quaint, and yet you return. Why do you come back? Why do you force yourself to be put under this agony, this pain? I guess you truly are mad. Now welcome to Audio Stories 3 Terrifying Tales. Now without further ado, let us begin. I apparently used to watch a TV show when I was 6 years old in 1988. The show was literally named 1988. That was what my mother says anyway. I don't remember ever watching a show called 1988. My mother even says that it was my favourite show when I was growing up. Maybe it's some joke that she made to confuse me. She could have been a bit more creative. But when I looked online for the 1988 show, there was nothing. Nothing about a show named 1988, just stuff from that year. I will tell you more about 1988, my mother said. Enlighten me, I joked. I knew the joke would blow up in her face, and I just wanted to see. She was setting herself up very badly. She goes on to say that before we moved out of Russia, he used to watch our broken TV that showed static 24/7. You created a whole show in your head and thought you were watching your favourite show. We were pretty poor to buy a new TV, so I played along. When we moved out of the USSR, you were so busy exploring the brand new area and learning so many new things that you must have forgotten. I thought you'd remember the show and we could laugh and share memories. Well, I thought you would remember anyway. Memories started coming back rapidly, and as I finally remembered 1988, it was a euphoric and nostalgic, but the happiness faded away quickly as I saw my mother's skin melt and turn into a nightmare. One of the versions of the characters in my head. And then they looked at me with a glassy glaze over their eyes and said, "You forgot about us. You abandoned us." Before turning back into my mother's face, I've told everyone about what happened, but no one believes me. No one believes me about 1988. And to be honest, neither would I. My daughter would never leave my side when she was younger, as she was a daddy's girl. She would sit and watch me working in the fields and doing odd jobs around the house. This all changed when she became a teenager, as she spent less time at home and instead was out with her friends. My wife assured me that it was just a phase, but I was disappointed as I missed spending time with her. By the time she was 18, she was turning heads in the village, as the beauty caught everyone's attention. I know a lot of local boys asked her out, but she kept turning them down. A lot of the older women kept giving her dirty looks and would cross the street rather than speak to her. It came as a complete shock when she got arrested. We went to beg for her release, but they told us that they were going to trial. I sat there during the trial and listened to all of the accusations, and I was in shock. My daughter kept claiming her innocence throughout the trial, but the evidence was overwhelming. She was eventually found guilty and sentenced to death. I watched them drag her outside and tie her to the cross, and I said nothing. Her screams as they burned her alive would haunt me to my dying breaths. But witchcraft is the only explanation as to why so many God-fearing men in our village, including myself, started having impure thoughts about her. I was walking home when he whistled to me. I turned around and there he was, leaning against the wall. His face was as pale as a white sheet. He had a mop of curly, rainbow-coloured hair with a red nose. Red streaks ran down his chin up to his eyes. He was also grinning at me, but only me. I looked around and nobody else to be seen to paying attention to this thing. They all walked by, chatting to their friends, treating him as if they was part of the wall that he was leaning against. Either that, or he was just simply a figment of my imagination. But something told me that he wasn't. "Hey," he called out to me, his gaze still fixated on my presence. "Do you want to see a magic trick?" I shook my head and walked away quickly. My parents had always drilled into me to never talk to strangers, especially not creepy clowns leaning against walls. When I was halfway home, I glanced behind me. He was still behind me at a surprisingly quick pace, his giant shoes clopping the pavement as he ran. "Hey," he called out once again. "Do you want to see a magic trick?" I started to run, my bag bopping against my back, my feet hard against the pavement. The clown's shoes behind me got louder and faster. I ran even faster than I was before, weaving through crowds of people and darting through cars on the street, even running the red lights sometimes and almost getting mowed down by cars. But it was like he had a GPS tracker planted on me. Every corner I turned, at the end of every street, he was right there. Finally, my house came into view, warm and inviting like a giant hug. I darted inside, but then, seconds later, I heard him run inside as well. He was that close behind me. He grinned, knowing I couldn't escape here, and rummaging into his pockets for his trick. I screamed for my parents. They descended the spiral staircase. Their eyes widened when they discover a stranger in their home. And then their faces lit up, their eyes beaming with pride, for it was the first time I successfully brought home dinner. And I hoped it would taste delicious.